What's going on, guys? It's Jesse at Home Auto Spa, and today we are doing full PPF on a brand new Ford Raptor. And I want to show you how thorough our full PPF is. Follow me around the car. I'm going to show you what we're doing. Car's been washed, but the fenders, the hood scoop vents, the side panel trim, all of that's going to get removed so that we can tuck the film for a clean install. And this is great for two major reasons. First and foremost, it looks amazing. Literally as seamless as it gets, right? But secondly, and most importantly, it's a lot more durable when you do the install this way. Because when we tuck the film standard will go to here, but our film is actually going to go to about here, which means that there's no exposed edges, meaning it's not going to catch and lift, right? So it's a lot more durable that way. And so you can see we've taken apart most of the vehicle. So the rear fenders, even the bed trim here up top, we're trying to tuck this film as clean as we can. Our client is paying for the best, and so that's what we're doing. All of that trim is gonna get removed. All of that film is gonna get tucked. Take a look at this B-roll and see how much of this prep work we've had to do on this Raptor before we even touch the car. And with that, I'm going to show you how much work goes into a full body PPF on this Raptor.
PPF time.
So one of the most annoying things is to get the paint protection film off the sheet. So we're putting the big bulk of film onto what's called the tint board. And you can see we're going to be spraying slip solution on, having two guys peel it off, and we're going to go ahead and lay it onto the hood. So what we're going to be doing here is what's called a four-corner stretch, and this is how we get a flat piece of film to go over a curved edge smooth, right? It's super important to mitigate all that stress so that it goes over those edges without any excess material called fingers. So you can see we're locking in an edge, and then we're going to go ahead and proceed to squeegee out all the water. When we do PPF, we got to do it in sections, kind of like what you're seeing here. We work in checkpoints to make sure all of that water gets pushed out one section at a time, and then we squeegee it clean like you're seeing here. We removed that front grill on the Raptor to get a clean tuck of the film underneath, and so now we're tucking in that PPF underneath the hood scoop. We're going to go ahead and trim the perimeter now as well. And now we go to tuck the edges around the perimeter. Let's go ahead and lay some PPF on the mirror as well. Kind of same process, got to clean, prep, and then lay it on. Mirrors is also really tricky because you can see we're having to line it up really sharp. The alignment part is probably the hardest part, alignment and stretch. So we're going to go ahead and do that on this mirror to get it nice and flush. And then we're going to squeegee it clean. Alright, moving on to the back, you can see we've taken out the rear fender and the tail light. We're going to go ahead and lay that PPF on nice and clean. Very similar, you got to stretch it and make sure everything's lined up. And we squeegee it section by section. You can see because we removed the tail light, we're able to achieve a really clean tuck on that bed. So you can see it's tucked on one side here. It's going to be tucked in on the wheel well as tucked in where that tail light is. And then we trim any excess material. Here we are, we're going to heat treat all the edges so that they stick, and this PPF is going to get tucked under that trim and looks seamless. Now we're moving on to the roof. As we do PPF on the roof, we got to prep and then we got to lay. The roof is actually really tricky because of all those ridges, so we got to move section by section, squeegee it clean, but over each of those ridges we have to make sure the film sticks before we can move on to the next part. Onto the door, this part is actually quite tricky as well. So we got a template that goes over the door handle, but then also extends past the edge of the door so that the perimeter can get tucked. Aiming for a really clean install here. So we kind of get it aligned around that door handle first, then we squeegee it section by section to get all that water out. So with our PPF, we do what's called a bespoke install. That's what you've been seeing us do, tuck all the edges and make sure the alignment is really clean. And this is really great for two reasons. First and foremost, it looks amazing, right? You don't get those lines and edges going around the perimeter. Those edges are far less likely to catch and lift, which means that you get better durability for your PPF. And that's full body paint protection film on this brand new Raptor. You guys saw how much work went into it, how much disassembly was involved, all of these fenders, the trim, this top part, all of that came off for a clean tuck. We found that when you do paint protection film this way, you just get a far better adhesion, way less lines, and less likely for those edges to catch dirt and lift, right? And so we love that bespoke install, and our client definitely got a wonderful install today. If you look at some of this B-roll, you can see how tight these edges, tucks, and seams are. They're really, really close to the edges, or they're just straight up invisible, which is what we want. On full body PPF especially, this is the long way to do it, but man, the results are so worth the wait. If you want the absolute best form of paint protection that is strong enough to take damage, it looks pristine, and it stays looking clean, this is the product for you. And a job like this takes, on this truck, it actually took like 6, almost 7 business days. So a very long project indeed, but very, very much worth the end result. It's Jesse at Humble Auto Spa, signing out.
Mustang!